Hello and welcome to a brand new, squeaky clean, pretty in pink podcast. Today we are joined with a very special guest, but I will let the one, the only Roving Bear introduce and go forward with this.
You may know him as Corner of the Internet. You may be a member of Eyebrowtopia. You may have heard his luscious tones on Team Thumbs or on the Thumbcast. It is, of course, Andy. How are you doing, mate?
Eyebrowtopia closed a long time ago. But yeah, that's a throwback. OG fans and all that. I'm very well. Thank you for having me. I'm also your housemate. The best housemate you will ever and have ever had.
I mean, that's not a contest, mate. you won that quite early on.
That's nice to hear. How's everybody doing today?
Not too bad, thank you. Not too bad at all. Just been really playing a bit of Grounded this morning. How about you?
Yeah. I still don't like Grounded. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be controversial. I know you're all Grounded fans, but for me, I'm a lover of survival games, and I feel like that's how everybody starts an argument when they're about to insult the hell out of something. Normally I like pink hair, but no. It just missed a wow moment for me. But we're not here to talk about Grounded, because, trust me, I will be grounded by the end of it if we talk about it too much. But it's missing a wow, and the main character has no life. Oh no, I'm really small. I'm really small. Need I say more?
I can get your gist. You're kind of indicating, like most people, the game's missing a lot of kind of story. That said, I will say, with each update, it is adding that kind of lore. But to be honest, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to. I'm just going to put it out there. For 2021, I'm looking forward to seeing what more content they add and how that changes the game.
I mean, I often have that issue where I look at myself and go, wow, I'm really small, but let's not go there.
I mean, I have the same issue, but I'm guessing you're talking about physical height. I might be talking about something different.
I did not expect this conversation to take this direction.
So, look, I think just to finish on the Grounded point, because I can see why it has a lot of good features. I think it's got a very good concept of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, a very popular Disney film back in the day. But here's an example, okay? If in 6 months' time I want to eat my words and you want me to play Grounded, give me some rain, okay? Make it rain, make it torrential, make it Britain, make it rain like crazy, and have mudslides coming out. Let me go underwater. What creatures live underwater? There's so much more potential. Let me go in the house. I want to go and find and prank people in the house. I want like a prank DLC where you can go and mess with the people who live there. Where's my spoon gone? Well, you ain't getting it back, love, because I've got it.
To be fair, the rain point, I said that on stream a few days ago, and I totally agree with you. The rain would make that so much more entertaining. It would be so interesting if you're in the middle of a fight, you're about to fight a spider, starts to rain, and like both of you are just trying to get away from it as fast as possible. The pond DLC is the one I think you'll want to try, but I'll show you that another time. So, moving away from Grounded, as we've already kind of alluded to, this podcast is going to be very much about 2021. The games that we're looking forward to the most, anything that you may be a bit like, and any predictions you want to make for the year. So with that in mind, I'm just going to throw straight to our guest, Andy. Is there any game that's coming out in 2021 that you're really psyched for?
I mean, that's a tough question. That's like asking me to choose my favorite Pokemon, which is Growlithe, by the way. So it's actually like making me try and choose my favorite game. Oh wait, that's Spider-Man. Oh wait, it's not a difficult question at all. There's a lot of games coming out this year that I honestly can't wait for. I think the obvious place to start would probably be for me. Since it's the only actual game on my list there's two games on my list that has a release date actually, but Resident Evil: The Village. I have been a Resident Evil fan for about 18 months. Still not going over into calling it 2 years yet, but 18 months. And I played 7 first on stream, twitch.tv/Corner of the Internet. And honestly, it scared me absolutely shitless. I don't think I've screamed so much. There was one bit in it, I know spoilers, even though it's an old game, where I physically was jumped so much that I threw the control in the air and I actually nearly took my eye out playing the game. At Resident Evil Village, I played the Maiden. Well, I haven't played it because I don't have a PlayStation 5, but I've watched the Maiden demo and reacted to it over on our Team Thumbs channel. And honestly, it looks absolutely incredible. It comes out May the 7th, I believe. So I think on my list first, Resident Evil The Village. Is Chris a good guy? Is Chris a bad guy? Are they really vampire and fairies? No. Vampire fairies, that's my book. Vampire and werewolves. Good vibes about Resident Evil 8. Good vibes. And I got so many plugs in there accidentally as well. I must be getting better at this.
You have actually got quite a few good plugs in there. I'm impressed. I was just going to say, in terms of vampires, you're referring to the kind of daughters, aren't you? Because, interestingly enough, I was on the Twitter page earlier for Resident Evil, and the voice actor or actress for them recently passed away, and it actually quoted him as saying that they were mourning for the voice actress of the witches in the village. So I wonder if that's what we're going to be looking into, or there's going to be some sort of black magic thing going on, or whether, like in Resident Evil, the black magic is really a cover for a bit more of a science-based, the T-virus kind of style thing going on.
They've pretty much left the T-virus behind them from Resident Evil 7. But Capcom's doing a really strange thing at the moment. Well, that's not strange, and it's a clever thing with Resident Evil, where they're almost building two parallel universes at the same time. So obviously they've been remaking a lot of games such as 1, 2, 3, which are great games. 3 is a little bit short for the price they're still charging, which is why a lot of people are now thinking Resident Evil 4 is going to be remastered, which was another prediction, not necessarily for this year, but you never know. Because remember, this is the 25th anniversary. In March 2021 is the 25th anniversary of Resident Evil 1 being released. And we live in a world now where you've got the likes of Marvel with the Avengers Infinity War trailer, where they're editing false scenes into the trailers and leaking wrong footage on purpose. And I think we're in a world now where I personally enjoy that we can't trust trailers. So I think vampire and werewolf will be roughly what they are, but I think it'll be based on the lore of a vampire, based on the lore of a werewolf. And I also, at the moment, wouldn't be surprised if we had a Bloodborne crossover, because you definitely get Bloodborne vibes from the trailer.
Oh, definitely. When you see the build-up to entering the castle alone, the vibes are just... I think I said it to you when we were talking in the background afterwards. It's like, yeah, there is such a Bloodborne vibe going on there. And the scarecrows, if one of those isn't attacking you, I'll be very surprised.
And the trailer gave everybody the answer for who ate all the pies. The Duke ate all the pies. All the pies. And there's the nice lady with a massive pair of nostrils as well that everybody's talking about.
That's true, although I think more people are talking about her daughters. Certainly, I think you almost can tell a game trailer's success by how many people are cosplaying as the characters in it. The amount of cosplays I've seen now of the daughters. Like the trailer, we've only had a demo and a trailer. It's only been out for, a week? And if you go on, Instagram or TikTok, there are just so many now. So yeah, I can see that being one of the big selling, if not the big selling game of the year. But
it won't be the best game of the year. It won't be the biggest selling game of the year. You're also wrong about it's 2021 and everybody's in lockdown, so therefore you're just seeing people in black dressing gowns, and they just happen to look like the daughters of the woman. Early prediction actually of the storyline. Obviously, Ethan and Mia from Resident Evil 7. Great game if you haven't played it yet. They have a baby, looks like a baby girl, who is important to this ritual thing that everybody's talking about. And I think the rituals happened before. So the basic story is Ethan's kid gets kidnapped. He's all big, strong, strapping, stupid, doesn't like his life, and decides to go into the castle to rescue his daughter. Basic concept, basic storyline. And that's what it's going to be. And there's going to be a whole lot of nostrils thrown in your way.
50p says that it's going to be a Mario-esque storyline where get to the top and find Toad sat there going, "Oh, Mario, thanks, but the princess is in the other tower." Nah. Moving on to other games to kind of look forward to. Barrett, do you have any for this year that you want to put forward?
You'll pretty much know that the only one I'm gonna really bring forward at the moment is the new Persona 5 game, which is released in about 23 days, 24 days.
Persona 5 Strikers, the first game in the series that's straying away from its usual roots and is going to be more, well, let's be honest, Dynasty Warrior style. Yeah, I can see why it'd be interesting. To be fair, I'm looking at that as well. Although the price tag on Steam I saw the other day was something like 65 quid, which was persuading me against it. I'm not going to lie.
I will not be spending 65 quid on it.
Sounds like you're gonna rob it. Do you know someone? You got a contact?
I wish I had a contact. If I had a contact, though, I would be asking them, as much as I do love the Switch, the early kind of side-by-side graphic, because we've got people beta testing, and they've been showing you the kind of side-by-side of playing it on the PlayStation, the PC, and the Switch. The Switch doesn't look to be handling it very well. If anything, there does appear to be a lot of frame rate drops, which is a little concerning. So,
the Switch.
Well, the Switch has its advantages. I mean, the Switch has one of the games I'm actually quite intrigued for this year. I mean, a lot of guys our age obviously might remember or might have played it on the old N64. You've got the new Pokemon Snap coming out on April 30th.
That's true.
It looks great, although the trailer did have a frame rate drop around the moment where there's like the kind of fireflies around your character and you turn around and you see a great big, and now I can't remember its name, and Andy's going to judge me so hard.
I haven't memorized the trailer, so I have no idea who you're talking about.
It's like a Bayleaf or something.
What? Is it a Bayleaf? Because that's a Pokemon.
I think is that the final evolution for Chikorita?
No, it's the middle evolution of Chikorita. Meganium.
I think it was that. If you watch the trailer, there is like a noticeable frame rate drop. The game itself, I think, for what we're going through at this current time, it's Nintendo's kind of formula for how they're succeeding in lockdown is games that kind of have an element of escapism and a very chill vibe. So, like last year, for example, as I suddenly start saying Animal Crossing, Animal Crossing did actually kind of have, well, I'd say one of the biggest impacts outside of gaming. I think I've seen a game have for a while. Hashtag should have been Game of the Year. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to put out a prediction on Pokemon Snap right now, which is that I think that is going to be the biggest and the best game that Nintendo will release themselves this year. Not to say that will be the best game on their console, because I can see a lot of the kind of third-party developers have got a lot of good stuff coming out. But I just think, looking at what Nintendo's releases look like, looking at the games they've confirmed, it strikes me that they're kind of pushing further on with their strategy of re-releasing titles. So the other big Nintendo game of the year is Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, which, was on the Wii U.
It's true. Pokemon Snap's not made by Nintendo, though. It's published by Nintendo. They have nothing to do with the development. I think, is it Bandai that are making it? I think. And I don't think Pokemon Snap's going to be the biggest game we see on the Switch or Nintendo this year. It's the 25th anniversary of Pokemon. I have some faith that they are going to release not necessarily 4th gen remakes, but I think we'll have a new main game in November. And I just feel like that'll do. Pokemon Snap is very similar to like the Pokemon Dungeon games. It's a very niche audience, and I think the audience, Pokemon are getting very confused at the moment about who their audience are, and they keep targeting towards kids when I think their audience is not kids. I think kids like the plushies, the overhyped Charizard, the overhyped Pikachu, but in terms of what grown-ups want, I think people are starting to drift away from Pokemon because they're not making the games that the fans truly want anymore. Pokemon Snap was a surprise for me. I didn't expect them to remake that. I was expecting more of a Pokemon Coliseum. maybe even a new mystery dungeon game, maybe a Let's Go Johto, which I think is more likely than 4th gen remakes. But in terms of Pokemon Snap, it won't be the biggest game Nintendo see this year. Not with Zelda. I think it's Zelda's 35th anniversary this year. I think they've got loads of Mario stuff in the cart in the things. Pokemon Snap is a niche market which nostalgia fans will be really interested to play. But can you honestly say that an 11-year-old looking at Pokemon Snap for the first time will say, "Oh, I really want to take that picture," when you can already do that in Pokemon Go? And I think I just think I don't think it'll flop, but I don't think it's going to be that big new shiny toy that revolutionizes the Pokemon audience in the slightest.
Fair enough. We'll have to bring it back in a year's time, and we'll just have to kind of go through any other predictions we have, including this, and just see how they kind of stack up. I reckon.
I truly hope that I'm wrong about that, but I fear a lot of the time now that Pokemon have. It's not lost its way. I think that's too far, but I don't think it's doing what you need to be doing to keep an audience. If that makes sense, like
I agree with you.
One of my big things is like, all right, well, if you don't want to remake Diamond and Pearl, which I think it's looking more likely, but it's not confirmed, and it's very likely, and I think we'll hear more about it on Pokemon Day. There's something of February, but if they were taking this anniversary seriously, and this is all kind of, it's not rumor, it's hearsay with leaks and things like that, which you can always have to take with it. They're talking about a Pokemon Legacy Pack, which is putting the original games, like the first 3 generations, say, so red, blue, yellow, and gold, silver. I know they said bronze, but it's crystal. Putting them on the Switch like they did on the Virtual Store on the DS. I think that's taking Pokemon more seriously because, granted, I'm a Gen 1er, and apparently that's a crime in the Pokemon community now to prefer the earlier Pokemon games because, you're just nostalgic. But there's a reason that them games were so popular, and it's because they were better. And I think they've lost the age range of their audience in a lot of ways, and I think it's honestly, I wouldn't be surprised with how popular Pokemon cards are at the moment if they say, here's a new generation of Pokemon cards, here's some mobile app games, here's Pokemon Snap. See you next year. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Do you think they might do a re-release or a sort of new version of the old Pokemon card game they released on the Game Boy all those years ago?
No, not. I won't say not a chance, but 1% of a chance. I just don't think, like, if it's the same. It's like 99% of people who collect Pokemon cards now, say there's 100 people that collect Pokemon cards in a room, I would probably imagine maybe less than 10 of them would actually play the trading card game.
That would be fair. I could agree with that.
So there's not a market. I think everything was leaked in America for a Pokemon Legacy Pack at the end of last year, which was going to be Switch games. I'm not sure whether they're going to be remasters or whether there's going to be ports. And there was 2 of them, and one was like blue, silver. It's like blue, silver, ruby, and I think that was it. It might have been pearl or diamond in that, and then the other one was red, gold, sapphire, etc. It might not have been that way around. And I think that is catering, but you've got to look at other monster catcher games at the moment. And nowadays, like we've grown up in a world where Pokemon has no competition. There is competition now. You look at Nixabon Extinction, that's coming up there. They're putting a challenge mode in. They're putting a creator zone in where people can do a Nuzlocke, which is, for those who may not be aware, where if your Pokemon faints or your monster crate is dead forever, you can't use it again. Pokemon refuse point blank to put that in their game because they're scared that they might not make it for kids. Pokemon's not for kids anymore. It's not, because everybody who played it as a kid is now our age, and we're still the ones that keep it going, the ones that are still excited about it. 90% of Let's Plays on YouTube are Pokemon Nuzlocks. Nexamon have looked at that, listened to the fans, and they've put a Nuzlocke in their game where you can randomize everything, and it's all perfectly what they want to do with the game. You got Monster Sanctuary from Team 17 which is looking pretty good. It's not really my cup of tea. Pokemon has got competition, and for me, that is the best thing that could happen to Pokemon because they need a shake-up.
I've got to agree with you completely. I think I enjoyed Sword and Shield. Well, Shield, but it was, for me, way too brief a game, and it felt like, bearing in mind, and I'm going to put my hands up here, I'm not a dedicated Pokemon fan. I have missed quite a few generations. I didn't feel like it had really evolved beyond Red or Gold or even Ruby. I kind of just felt like it had shifted a little. Like, graphically, obviously, it shifted in that sense, but the actual gameplay, there didn't seem to be a real... And I suppose the terrible pun title for it would be, I'd say Pokemon is actually missing a real evolution in there. It just feels like they've just kind of gently nudged it forward each time. So I'm just going to, because we don't want to overrun this too far, of course. Very briefly, are there any other games, before I very quickly take you into a little mini game, so to speak, where I'm going to name a series of games that are rumoured to be coming out this year, and I'll get you guys to tell me if you think it will happen or won't happen. You as well, Bareth. But before that, is there any other games that you're looking forward to this year? Are you looking forward to Hood, Outlaws and Legends, a Robin Hood style game? Humankind, which is Sega's attempt to kind of take on Civilization, so to speak. Is there anything else?
Hood is on my list. I'm not really sure what to expect from it. I worry that's going to go the similar way to Avengers did, where it's a lot of online grinding. But I don't know enough about it. But I'll probably play it.
I was going to say, Bareth was a huge fan of Avengers, weren't you, Bareth?
Just no. Just no. No. No.
I agree. I'm a massive Marvel fan. I know everything. Well, not everything. I know a lot about Marvel, and it's one of my passions of life. I've got loads of the comics and things, and like, I just don't know what they were thinking with Avengers. They should have just made a story game like Activision did with Spider-Man, the greatest game ever made, and it just would have been far more successful. So it can come back because it's Avengers, and Avengers will always be popular. But
I just hated the fangirliness of it. It's like, oh, I'm an Avenger. Oh, me. Look at me. Look what I'm doing. Yeah, I think that about sums up what she was doing. I'm fighting with Iron Man. Oh, look at me. Yeah, that was...
You're looking forward to Miss Marvel Marvel appearing in Captain Marvel 2 then? Avengers is a whole other topic, and who do they bring in to try and save it? Kate Bishop. Cool. Everybody's heard of Kate Bishop, obviously.
I'm going to be honest with you. Nope.
Exactly. Hawkeye's assistant, if you like. It's a really wrong way of saying it, and putting out a lot of hate from Marvel's fans, but that's basically what she is. Protege, that's the word I'm looking for. Hawkeye's protege. The Hood should be good, actually. I've been saying for a long time we need a Robin Hood game. I think I literally said this to Graham and Rob, who I'm on Team Thumbs with, who I run Team Thumbs with, and I think like a week later they announced this Hood game. I just don't know enough about it, and I've never heard of the other game that you mentioned, so I can't comment on that.
Humankind, for anyone who doesn't know, and it's well worth having a look at. If you're a fan of strategy games like Civilization, Sega have basically worked with Amplitude Studios to create their own version of Civilization to kind of take forward the genre and take them on. It looks interesting. To be honest, I'm going to need to see a lot more kind of trailers for it, but the release date is April 22nd, so keep an eye out for that.
Doubtful.
Another game on my to watch list is Werewolf the Apocalypse, which is coming out on the PlayStation 5, the X and S Xbox, and for the One and PC on February 4th. Not that long to go now.
I always worry when a game's been released on all them platforms at the same time.
Well, it's funny you say that. Obviously, we've heard a lot about the Cyberpunk series, and in reality, Cyberpunk was a game that, quite frankly, as frustrating as it would have been, should have held off release longer. Granted, there comes a point like Duke Nukem where or Half-Life. Well, Duke Nukem released ages later and was a big flop, and Half-Life, which just isn't coming out again because, quite rightly, I think the hype for it is now too much for them to actually bear. But there are a lot of big games coming out this year, and this mini game is for both you and Bareth. I'm basically going to kind of name a series of games that have been slated for a 2021 release. And basically, I'm going to get you to say yes, you reckon it's coming out 2021. No, you don't think it is.
Okay.
So, with that in mind, let's start with Halo Infinite.
No.
Andy?
No. Let me explain why. Because I do think it needs context. Now, I'm not going to sit here and rant about Cyberpunk. It made no difference to my life. These people are trying to sue the bloody studio for millions of pounds because of the £60 they spent wasn't well spent. Get over it, okay? But I think Cyberpunk has scared the game industry in the best possible way. They have seen what happens. They didn't learn from No Man's Sky. They did not learn from No Man's Sky. Whether it wasn't a big enough studio, wasn't a big enough game, I don't know. But they did not learn from No Man's Sky, which was awful when it came out. Absolutely awful. Cyberpunk doesn't sound like it's gone any better. Microsoft need Halo Infinite to be a success. There is no, oh, it was all right. Microsoft need Halo Infinite to be a success. So therefore, I think if we see any Halo Infinite, because they're doing like a monthly, like a one-a-month news release of Halo now until it's released, I think if we see any Halo, we will see a beta/demo before Christmas, and they'll be released March, April 2022, for the very simple reason that any mistake that game makes, I think they've lost.
I have to admit, again, I agree with you. I think for Xbox, I'm one of the people who've gone from PlayStation to Xbox. I don't regret that decision, but I know that more people are with the PlayStation 5. Xbox, therefore, need titles that can be real winners this generation, and Halo is obviously their flagship. If Halo falls, then Xbox will fail. So I think you're right. Bareth, do you think it's going to be a 2021 or not?
I think April 2022 because start of financial year.
Ah. Okay, we got first two predictions out of the board there. Next game to kind of bring up.
Hit pause. I think it's here. That was I literally don't think that could have been perfect time. I'll be like 10 seconds.
Okay.
Elden Ring, the game I think that was written by the guy who did Game of Thrones.
Never heard of it. No idea. But I don't foresee many big releases at this moment in time. That will probably release this year. So I think you'll see like lots of like smaller game titles being released this year. I think big releases, they'll write this year off as a tax write-off, and release big next year as a main. If you like looking at your Halos or your bigger companies, I think they'll look to put all their profits into 1 year.
Well, just to kind of give you a quick rundown of Elden Ring, while Andy definitely isn't dealing with an Amazon driver downstairs, Elden Ring is basically being written by, is it George R.R. Martin, the guy who did Game of Thrones? The director of the game has painted it as an evolution of Dark Souls. Now, on the one sense, that's quite exciting. On another sense, I find it is getting a bit too common and a bit too easy for game developers kind of liken their games to a Dark Souls game, if you know what I mean. Like, I know Dark Souls is sort of the epitome of a difficult game, but sometimes it just, I think it's too easy to kind of make your games too hard to play rather than really focus on the quality. But it is published by Bandai Namco, and From Software do have a good reputation. So, personally, I don't think it's going to be 2021 like you. I think they're going to push that back. I think 2021 is going to be a bit like 2020. It's mostly going to be another year of great indie titles. So, I'll just push us forward to the next one. Bear and Breakfast.
I wonder why you picked this one. Let me just Google.
It's an indie title on the Switch. While you do that, I'll bring up another title that I know you definitely will know. Ghostwire Tokyo.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yes, Ghostwire Tokyo coming out on the PlayStation 5 and PC, later coming to the Xbox. It is developed by Tango Gameworks and published by Bethesda.
Ooh. Just quickly on Bear and Breakfast, it looks so cute.
I know!
It's also available, it will also be available on Windows as well.
Ooh, I think we both know what we're going to be playing.
It's on the Steam store. I'd expect that to be released this year. It looks cute.
Okay, so Elden Ring you said next year. Bear and Breakfast you say this year. Okay. Ghostwire Tokyo, did you have a prediction for that?
Ghostwire Tokyo, I'm just going to have a look, see what...
It's a big open world Bethesda game.
Probably not this year.
I like how I just summed it up and you were like, yeah, no, not this year. God of War 2021.
If that doesn't release this year, it's a failure.
Oh, wow, okay.
No, if it doesn't release this year, if they got 2021 in the title, it's a failure. As for Ghostwire, it look from like the imagery and stuff, it looks really cool.
It's on my playlist, honestly. I am definitely excited for when that comes out.
Again, PlayStation 5 and Windows, it's running on Engine. Wouldn't surprise me if it is on time, actually. But it is slated for October 2021, so there is some time there. And it's not like an early release of the year. So, short of the current issues in the world going on until October, I think that will get released. I think October you'll start seeing games released more, because we should be back buying in shops and stuff by that point, and there'll be less of a issue distribution wise at that point.
Sounds like you just jinxed us all.
Yeah, right.
Welcome back. We'll just give you a quick rundown of titles again.
Okay.
So, Elden Ring, yes or no? Do you think it's going to come out this year?
I know nothing about it, so I will say yes.
It's a Dark Souls-esque game written by George R. Martin from Game of Thrones. I'm going to say, personally, I don't think it will, but that's just because they've been talking about it and they've been bigging up as a very big game for the last 2 years, so I'd be surprised if they managed to kind of pull it through this year.
Is the major villain a coffee cup?
And yeah, you said George R.R. Martin. That's never getting made then, because he's never going to finish Game of Thrones, so he just doesn't finish what he starts. So yeah, no, I changed my answer. No.
The next game was Bear and Breakfast, coming out on the Switch and the PC.
It's already out, isn't it?
Nope, not yet.
What game am I thinking of?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
All the massive games that have been released this year, you've gone with Bear and Breakfast.
I wanted to throw a curveball in there, and plus...
I will give an answer, and that answer is I don't care. To be honest, I don't care. A bear trying to run a B&B in the woods, hanking his friends. Yeah, I'm sticking with I don't care, I'm afraid.
Fair enough. The next one was Ghostwire Tokyo. Bareth said yes, because it's slated for October. What did you think?
I think later I feel like this is a conversation we're backing on. I think games that are slated for release later this year have a more of a chance. But yeah, I think the fans of Ghostwire Tokyo should be fine. I think that will be out this year.
Phew. Bareth's next title was God of War 2021. He said it'd be a failure if it didn't come out in the year 2021. Personally, I think with the 2020 Olympics being held this year, never say never.
God of War, Ragnarok. I've gone back and forth on this. I know it was originally meant to be released this year. I think God of War is my joint favourite game for the PlayStation 4, alongside Spider-Man, which again, the best game ever made. I don't think it's impossible, but you have to realize this is published by PlayStation Studios, if I'm not sadly mistaken. And another game coming out this year is Horizon Forbidden West.
Correct.
Is it Forbidden West?
It is.
Forbidden West. I think a world where Horizon Forbidden West comes out and Thor. It's not Marvel. It's not Thor. God of War Ragnarok comes out is unlikely. If you had put two against each other, I think Horizon is more likely to come out this year. But interestingly, on God of War, I know this is Thor again. An ex-director called David Jaffe, who, bearing in mind, hasn't worked for God of War since God of War 2, so where his opinions come from and why we listen to him, I don't know. But it's important to mention that. Says that Ragnarok will have a PS4 and 5 release. Where is getting information from, I don't know. If the studio comes out and says that it's getting a PS4 release and PS5, I think that means we can expect a 2021. I don't think it'll be a failure. I think it'll be a perfectly good game. They have been working on this for an awfully long time. Like, God of War PS4 came out in 2018. They've had a long time of work on this. They'll have been working on it before of it. I trust Santa Monica Studios. I think it's more likely we see it in 2022.
Let's be fair. We listen to Stephen Ogg when he says about the GTA releases. So he played Trevor, if you don't know. So yeah, we do seem to harp back and listen to people who have no real say or input into certain games. Like, oh yes, it's definitely getting released. Yeah,
I hear that's the voice that they all use as well. That's the rumor voice that you have to use when you announce when a game's been released.
Yeah,
it's going to make E3 more interesting. I'm not to announce anything. I love God of War. I think had Spider-Man not come out in 2018, it would probably be my game of the PS4. Honestly, I wouldn't complain if they said, look, we announced it too early, the pandemic, whatever they want to blame, all these all excuses. I wouldn't mind waiting until 2021 for Ragnarok. I wouldn't mind. And I think a world where Horizon and Ragnarok come out in the same year, sadly, doesn't exist.
Did you mean 2022?
That's what I meant. some year that's not the one we're currently in.
Yeah.
Some year we're not currently in. And they've been so quiet about it, unless I've missed something, which I doubt I have. All we have is the title and that teaser that they did, which was a bombshell drop of my holy crap moment. Yeah, I wouldn't mind waiting until 2022. If Cyberpunk has taught us anything, just wait 5 more months. Just wait 6 more months. So we'll either see it. I think summer release 2022 for God of War Ragnarok.
I can definitely agree with that. So guys, I'm going to now again get you to kind of go yes or no. You don't even have to explain because I appreciate that time isn't on our side. So Gotham Knights, 2021 or later, yes or no?
Yes, 2021.
Barris?
Yeah.
Gran Turismo 7?
No. I think it will be out this year, but I couldn't care less about it. I fell out of Gran Turismo when they brought out Gran Turismo 4, and it basically took up your whole hard drive on your PlayStation 3. Gran Turismo 3 a spec was the last decent Gran Turismo game.
Agreed.
I think it'd be November, December, January, February.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I wouldn't disagree.
I'm going more for the January, February, but that's why the emphatic no.
A game that I'm just going to bring out as another curveball because I don't know why but I Am Jesus Christ.
I really wish I knew.
Who does the research for these? Yes, why not? Yes, it's there. I said it. Yes.
I am walking the footsteps of Jesus in this incredible first person retelling of the story of the Christ.
I mean, if they don't bring that out at Easter, they're missing a massive trick.
Hashtag he has risen.
Hashtag he has risen. Yeah. So if they miss Easter, if it's not out before Easter, then no, because it'll come out 2022 Easter.
Okay, the next one for you guys. Oh wait, did Barry say yes or no?
I'm gonna say yes.
Ratchet and Clank.
Yes, that was meant to be a launch title. They're biding the time with that, and I don't know why. And it's annoying me, because I love Ratchet and Clank.
Barry?
Yeah. Again, launch titles will be out this year.
Fantastic. Next up on my list is Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 on PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Yes.
Frogwares are making it. No way. Oh my goodness. No. Yes, I think it probably will. I think the trailers look long enough to say yes. Yes.
Skull and Bones.
No. I don't think it is. They announced that and said, "Look what's coming," and it just went silent.
That was
2021 as well.
That was 2 or 3 years ago, wasn't it?
No. We have had gameplay though. Full gameplay at E3 2018. Wow, that long ago. I'll say yes.
Oh, he's saying yes.
I'll say yes.
I'll say yes, but October.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, it will be March. It will be March. I would be surprised if it's March.
Okie dokie. And the last one to throw at you. And I've got my own opinion on this, but I want to see what you guys reckon. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Coming out on the PS5, XNES, 4, 1, and PC.
Yeah.
You say yeah?
Delayed, but yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I just searched it, and the most frequently asked question about the game is Bloodlines 2 cancelled. That doesn't bode well for a game. It's got a pre-order up, though, on the PC. Why not? Yes, why not?
I'm going to say no personally for that one. And the reason why I'd say no is because I've been watching this ever since they first kind of announced it. It's been delayed twice. And the style of the game and the way they've kind of portrayed the game, and the fact that they kind of clung tightly early on in the promotional to it's going to be like Cyberpunk makes me think that what's happened to Cyberpunk will make them think twice about bringing it out so soon. I think they're going to want to make sure that is perfect. But if it does come out this year, I will honestly be delighted. And that, ladies and gents, is the game, and that's their predictions. So
I will throw one at you. Ashwalkers.
Sorry?
Ashwalkers.
Ashwalkers?
Yes. It's a grim outdoor hike from Don't Nod's co-founder, Herv Bonin.
When was it announced?
2 days ago.
2 days ago, but it's listed as a 2021 release.
Well, it is Don't Nod, and if it's Don't Nod or Don't Nod styled, I mean, how are you defining that? Because in theory, can I say that I think it will start to be released this year, but it won't be finished because they do episodes?
That's an intriguing one. I don't think Don't Nod know how to delay a game.
No, if they announce it this year, they must be fairly confident.
Yeah.
So I'll say yes.
Yeah, as I say. The reason why I brought up Don't Nod is because Don't Nod and Square Enix have parted ways.
Really?
So after the fallout of Avengers, we can't work with you anymore. When I've done Avengers.
Yeah. So Life is Strange 3 will not be produced by Don't Nod. Life is Strange 3 will be made by the same people who made apparently Life is Strange Before It's Done.
Oh, sounds like breaking news to me.
But yeah, so that was in the news a couple of days ago. Apparently, I was just searching for Don't Nod games that were coming out this year. But it looks like they've split away from Square Enix.
Well, I mean, I've heard a lot of rumors that Final Fantasy 16 is coming out this year, and I don't know what grounds it's being based on, but I can't imagine it's going to be. And there's even like people that are saying Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out this year. Well, I don't know whose backside they're pulling some of these rumors from.
I'll tell you now, and this I will take as a prediction that will go on until it happens. Starfield by Bethesda is going to be out before the next Elder Scrolls game.
They already they've said it is. Starfield is their next game, and there's no release date for that yet.
Well, there we go. But I have to admit, I'm looking forward to it. It could be the No Man's Sky that we all wanted, and technically we've now got. But a lot of people like me were obviously burnt by buying the initial release and finding ourselves without 90% of the game.
Being generous, 99% of the game.
To be fair, that's valid. I haven't played it since, so I don't know how much more they've added.
Quite a lot. It's quite good now, but I just lost interest.
Elder Scrolls 6 is an upcoming title. It was announced at E3 in 2018. It is slated for release in the third quarter after Starfield.
Yeah, I mean, Todd Howard is the director dude for that, and he's working on loads of games at the moment. And announced at E3, is that really what we can call it? We had a nice bit of scenery that could have been from any generic game, and then a title.
Yes.
That was it. It doesn't even count as a bloody teaser, to be honest.
To be honest, we got about as much from that moment as we did from when, was it Metroid Prime 4 was announced by Nintendo, and that one's been canned and restarted, so I don't know. Okay, I've got one more game. I've just realised there is one more game I needed to test you both on. Fable. This was announced by Microsoft during their big game show last year.
They're confident. I think it will go through.
Was there meant to be a launch title?
I believe so, yes.
So I think we can... Who's working on it? Is it still Playground Games? Rings a bell?
Yes.
I can't really think of anything else I got on the plate, so I would presume so. But again, if it was meant to be a launch title, then I think we're still in the launch window. So I think yes.
Well, I was going to say, one thing that I found quite fascinating is that it's already been beta tested. Which would imply to me that even though it hasn't got a release date, there must be not that much left in it if they're already beta testing. But it's, interestingly enough, unlike previous games in the series, it's going to be massively multiplayer online, similar to Elder Scrolls Online. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes, whether it flops or not. Because a lot of Fable and a lot of like Skyrim and Oblivion's kind of big success was built on the fact that you started off small and became the big fish in a small pond, whereas in MMOs, it's a bit challenging to see yourself and like 1 million other game players as that, if you know what I mean.
I think Fable's in a similar bracket to Halo. There is enough already built fan, and that's a good English sentence. There's enough fans of the Fable series already, where no matter what when the game's released, people are going to play it. But that puts a lot of pressure on the game because if it's not good, then they're not going to play it again. So they have a slight advantage on competition with Fable, Halo, but they need to take advantage of it because otherwise people will just leave and never come back.
Absolutely, and I agree with you with Playground Games. I think it's in safe hands. It should come out good.
I'm also fortunate, Paul, that I haven't mentioned two games, and it kind of insulting. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, the remasters of 1, 2, and 3, are rumored to be coming out this year. Won't they?
Is this so? Do you see the remasters of 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah. In preparation for Mass Effect 4 in 23, I think.
Well, I mean, that can't be a bad thing. Maybe they'll learn lessons from that and try and stick close to that kind of formula of 1 and 2.
Sounds like they are.
I hope so, because Andromeda was... I've played a little bit of it, thanks to Game Pass, and yeah, I want my time back.
And Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker collection.
Oh, that's going to come out this year.
But the big question about that, is it going to have online multiplayer?
Well, I mean, if Overcooked could do it, and that's a similar kind of audience-based game, a smaller studio, and they were able to pull that out of the bag, I don't see why they couldn't.
It should. It needs it. It needs it.
It definitely does. And with that, I'm going to draw this podcast to a close. I know Bareth is probably looking at the clock thinking, well, this is going to be a fun, long one. But hey, we've got an amazing guest. We have to extend it out for this. So thank you so much, Andy. And again, do go and check out Team Thumbs on YouTube and Corner of the Internet on Twitch. Is there any other places to point them in?
Yeah, just Team Thumbs on YouTube. We upload Wednesdays and Sundays. Probably going to start streaming on that on Sundays. I stream ad hoc on Corner of the Internet on Twitch. I should probably shout out Rob and Graham. Rob streams on the Exalifson YouTube channel, and Graham streams on twitch.tv/Fat Pikachu YT. Graham's the guides man, so to speak. Rob's the JRPG Final Fantasy dude, and I'm the pretty face of Team Thumbs because I'm just there. I got invited. I'm like the little brother that everybody invites to. They have to play with. So yeah, check us out.
We definitely will. We'll have to try and get a playlist on our channels just to try and point people in that direction as well. We've had Bareth87 here in the background. He's not been feeling amazing for this podcast, but don't worry, he'll be back to hosting duties soon enough.
I think you did wonderful. I just enjoyed sat there like looking at the clock going, ooh, 52 minutes.
Yeah, it's a mistake. I can talk for England and Ireland and France and Germany and most of the world. It's fine. It's interesting stuff.
It is. It is. And to be honest, with predictions like this, I think to do a podcast like this once in a while, it's not a bad thing. And when you've got a guest, it feels wrong to kind of cut them to just a small amount of time when, you know, they have such an interesting kind of outlook.
I need to talk to Graham and Rob because they cut me out of the Thumbcast all the time. That's a joke, of course. It's a joke. Or is it?
And on that bombshell, this has been the Sanctuary Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you again next week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
I had that coming.
Hey guys, Roving Bear here. If you've enjoyed our pod chats and you've enjoyed other great content, you can find more from me at twitch.tv/The Roving Bear. Stay safe. I love you all.
You have been listening to a Sanctuary podcast. I have been your host, Bareth87, and there's a few things I'd like to just add. Please remember these important phone numbers. The Samaritan UK is 116123. That's 116123. Shout UK, this is a text line. It's 85258. That's 85258. And Crisis Line USA is 1-800-273-8255. That is 1-800-273-8255. Please go and check out your local phone numbers for organisations like this and pass these numbers on to your friends and family. Keep them in your phone for when you need them and make sure you are using these very important resources. From myself, Bareth87, I want to wish you a fantastic evening, day or morning. You can find me at www.twitch.tv/Bareth87. And again, peace out and stay well.
Beep, beep. You've been listening to a Sanctuary broadcast. We will now resume
regular programming.